Hi y'all, so this week we're going to be smoking the Onyx Bold Nicaraguan, so stay tuned.
Get it.
All right, welcome back everyone to Santino's Sunday Cigar Review. Good morning to everyone. As Maddy had mentioned, we're going to discuss the Onyx Bold Nicaragua by Altadis. But unfortunately, before my light, usually I have the cigar lit up and I've already got the first third pretty well finished. But this week I decided when I took it out of the cellophane, I discovered a few things that I was a little startled by. So before I light it and started smoking it, I thought, well, I try to show the audience best as we can with the camera. I noticed before I cut the cigar, I cut the cap off. I noticed that the cap was loose and already coming apart. So I knew no matter how thin I cut the cap, it was still going to fall apart. Okay. Also, I noticed on the foot, the wrapper doesn't even cover all the way down to the bottom of the foot, the binder and filler. Just little things, guys. I'm not being nitpicky, but this is what you get when you get mass-produced cigars from a huge conglomerate company. I mean, even the bands are barely on. There's no glue holding them, and they're coming apart. So, just some little things. Notice, we try to be fair and objective, and we don't just sugarcoat things to buddy up to the vendors or the distributors or the sales reps. We try to give an honest assessment of every cigar. So I'll have some platitudes and some nice things to say. I'm sure there's something about this cigar that's going to be nice. So I will get started. So stay tuned, and we'll be back.
Alright y'all, so while Mike's smoking into that a little bit more, I'm going to give you the breakdown on this cigar. So it's got a San Andreas wrapper to it, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan fillers in it. So overall, this is going to be a really potent cigar. It's going to pack a little bit of a punch, and it's going to have that little spiciness that a lot of the Nicaraguans are known for. Are you getting any of that?
Yeah, and I guess I feel a little remiss here. I didn't mean to come out so strong and negative with the first couple of features, but I do think it was noteworthy to mention. So, to answer your question, it is a full-body, potent cigar, and they advertise that. So there's nothing hidden, no hidden messages there. But it's really actually easy to smoke, Maddy. I'm a little surprised. I mean, it is early morning, and I tend not to start with a cigar like this early in the morning, but it's actually kind of easy to smoke. So that's an interesting twist from what my preconceived notions might have been. I do get all the typical characteristics like you're going to see in a lot of reviews if you look up this cigar. Yes, it is. As you can see, it's a dark chocolatey wrapper. I do get a lot of leather in the notes. I get a lot of nuttiness. Now, there was one review that I glanced at that said they got some espresso notes. And believe it or not, my crazy palate, I was actually, I think, faintly able to pick up on that, which that's a new milestone for me. So I see some interesting characteristics and notes about this cigar.
Yeah.
It's been creamy and smoky. I set it down for a couple of minutes to make a cup of coffee, came back to it, and it was still lit. So kind of all the telltale signs you like to see in a premium cigar. So stay tuned, and I'll try to smoke into this a little bit more and try to give you some more feedback. All right, y'all. I've kind of changed my tune a little bit about this cigar. It is really mellowed out in the second third, so the flavors and stuff maybe aren't as pronounced. In some ways, they are. They're a little easier to pick up on. The kind of the bitter tart kind of taste in that first third is gone. So it's really what I like to say is mellow. They're smoothed out. It's still staying. It's lit. It's drawing well. It's all those characteristics that I like that all these cigars should have intrinsically, right? We shouldn't have to fight to get the quality when you're talking about premium brand cigars. So I think we're going to just jump right into our pros and cons. I'm going to say with my pro, it actually was a pleasant surprise that how the cigar actually tasted after I got into it. It surprised me a little bit, so I have to admit that I'm just going to leave it at that. The con I have is some of the things that we had mentioned in the very beginning. You know, when you quickly try to mass produce a product that should take a little bit more time, evident of how it was prior to the pre-light of the cigar, that's a concern. Some reviews had mentioned that this was a budget-friendly cigar. I would kind of beg to differ. I don't know what market they might have been in. Maybe some markets this is budget-friendly, but typically speaking, folks, in this industry, anything $8 to $12 is kind of the sweet spot of a cigar, and that's a big range because you have to factor in what state you're in, what the tobacco taxes are, and there's other things to consider. So it does fit that range, but I wouldn't necessarily they tout this themselves as a budget friendly cigar, but it's closer to the higher end of that premium range. So that'd be the only con I really say, other than maybe if they would take a little bit more time at the factory as they box these things up. Maddy, you have anything to add?
So my pro with this cigar is definitely going to be that it's got all of the really awesome tasty notes of like chocolate, leather, and stuff like that. I am personally a fan of those tasting notes, so this might be a cigar I would try in the future whenever I turn 21. Now, for my con for this is that there is a lot of really, really awesome boutique brands who have cigars that are also in that same category, but are just have that little extra oomph to them, which is something I really look for in a cigar. So that would be my only con as well.
Something just hit me, and I kind of want to jump back in and add to my little segment here. Something dovetailing off something Maddy was just saying. The boutique companies don't have a lot of wiggle room, and this is what I mean by this. They're smaller, they don't have the budgets, they don't have the workforce, they don't have a lot of things, a lot of the resources needed, okay? And so when these little boutique companies come out with a neat little cigar and it becomes successful and becomes popular and people across the country and world, like to smoke it, then you get these big conglomerates out there that do have the money, do have the resources, do have the workforce, do have the connections, and then they try to mimic what a small boutique company did, and we're here for the little guy. We know the big brands are out there, and we know that they're all sold on the internet, and folks, that's another pet peeve of mine. You don't buy your apples and oranges and bananas online. You shouldn't buy your cigars online. It's not the same quality. But that being said, still pleasantly surprised, but give the little boutique guy a try. So, Maddy, why don't you sign us out?
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified whenever all of our videos go live. Make sure you check out the website whenever we have events popping up. Also, check out the Facebook. That's a really important one because we always have new stuff coming in, and it always ends up on the Facebook first.
Yeah, and folks, once again, I'm jumping in again. I'm ruining this segment, but we have not had events, and we don't know when we'll have events in the foreseeable future because of COVID. We're trying to be socially responsible, I guess, and so we will get back to that when everything kind of gets back to normal. Mm-hmm. So, thank you. And remember, at Santino's, we drink.
We smoke, and we know things. Have fun, y'all.